Hey, Mike. Having connection problems. So, all right, are we back on YouTube now too? Let's see. I don't know. That picture is a little bit funky. All right. Are my YouTube people back? Says that we're live. Okay, so final thoughts here. All right. The question is, was she I'm just kind of like coming back to my train of thought here. Are my YouTube people back? There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we had like some connection issues. All right, so basically, I just kind of thought it was interesting that all right, here we go. When you are doing healing work or like coaching or like therapy or like whatever for anybody, the question always is like, does that person want it? You know, like, are you delivering healing or are you delivering help when somebody doesn't even want it? And that was something that was like that really kind of stuck out to me. Also with this Whitney Cummings and, Malibu Safari situation, because it was very clear, even though they didn't express it. I was just like picking this up intuitively. And also just like in the interview that this guy from Malibu Safari did, like they didn't want Whitney Cummings there, and I'm sure there were other people helping also, but they didn't want all the attention. They didn't want the help. Now, the question also is kind of like a fine line between like, hey, they're not actually there to help you. They're there to help the animals. So there's just things to think about. It's just an interesting dynamic. So since then, Whitney has totally deleted all the Instagram stories about the situation, which of course, I think, well, who wouldn't? Because again, I think she was probably threatened with a lawsuit. I think that would probably fall into defamation. I'm not really 100% sure, but maybe. I mean, she really brought like a shitstorm on them. Now, was it deserved? Was she overreacting? Like, was the fire that bad and that close to the winery? I think yes, since these people also lost their house and the neighbors, everybody else was evacuated. It seemed like, again, the whole place was evacuated. And then you have these like poor animals that are still there. And you know what? Animals are trained to run when there's danger. And this bothers me even just to think about it, but like they were held captive. They were held within this fence. They were held within this, what is the word? Encapsulation? That's not the word, but that's the word that's coming to me. Thank you, my YouTube people. Dancing K, Starlight, thank you. So, that's horrifying that the animal compound, thank you, this this fence compound, they were stuck inside. They couldn't even escape. So basically these animals have emotional trauma. I would like to go out there to do healing on those animals because, again, just the thought of it and just tapping into the animals is just like so sad. To have to go through that. And these are, when you're taking care of animals, like you are their guardian, like you're there to take care of them and you don't just like abandon them. So the thought here was Whitney overreacting, or was she within her rights? Was she just kind of doing this to gather more Instagram followers and like more fame? Because again, she kind of really made it out to be like, here, I'm reporting live. Like she was really getting into it. And she was good. She was good at the reporting. I mean, like, again, that's what sucked me into my Instagram addiction. Because it was so interesting. Like you wanted the play-by-play of like what was going on with these animals and like, is the giraffe okay? Are the horses okay? Is the zebra okay? Like, what are these people doing? So she deleted, so, okay, or is she just like bullying them now? Was she overreacting? Was she bullying them? Okay, I'm just like reading some comments here. Cool. So the final thing, which I think is like the twist and the thing that I find like sort of funny here, because right. Well, you know what, Starlight? So Starlight says I think it's a guy. He's looking for a house that won't flood, and he's wondering if that would be an ark. So I saw some comments. People were talking about on how maybe you can build like a whole cement complex for the animals. Like if they, supposedly it is very dangerous to move a giraffe, and if their legs, I think the word is splay, like the front legs, if they splay, which is like they go out, that, I don't know, that maybe that could be death for the animal or something. I'm not, like, I don't really know the whole ins and outs of moving a giraffe, but so they were saying that that could be kind of dangerous. So I was reading in the comments that they were saying, well, why don't you just build this like cement compound that, I guess would hold up in fire. I don't know. I live out on the East Coast. I'm a Jersey girl. We don't have wildfires like that, thank God. I mean, it seems like California gets like all kind of crazy weather shit going on, which, by the way, which we're not going to go into this. Okay, yeah, I thought you were a guy. So what was I going to say? So what was I saying here? It's hard to chat with you guys through the chat and then like still keep my chain of thought. You're going to have to, for real, like you guys are going to have to follow me on Blog Talk, and it's the Love Guru Blair or Love Guru. And I also think I set up a new one called the Alien Network. So totally follow me on those. So then you'll be notified when I'm doing live broadcasts. Oh, it just closed out. Isn't that weird? Man, I hope this thing didn't close on YouTube. So you guys are going to have to follow me so you can call into the show and we can interact that way rather. Oh, there you are. Yes, you got it, Dancing K. I was just going to say that. That's exactly where I was going with that. So we're not going to talk about that in this broadcast because that's like a whole other thing. But yeah, those, I believe, as Dancing K, and I'm sure a bunch of you guys out there know, that these wildfires were not random. They're part of the Agenda 21. It's direct energy weaponry. You guys can Google that if you're not familiar with that. And yeah, I totally believe that's what's happening there with those wildfires. So that's like a whole other conversation. And yeah, so the final thing I wanted to share with this video, and this thing that I thought was, I don't know what that is. Hey, Joe, what's going on? I don't know what Agenda 2030 is. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay, I don't know why my chat keeps going out. Isn't that weird? So you guys will come back in a second. My final thought here about Whitney Cummings and Malibu Safari, oh, there you guys are. Okay, I don't know why that keeps going out, my chat on YouTube. I'm broadcasting this on YouTube and Facebook. So like, by the way, follow me on Facebook too. I have a new page because you guys probably, like when I was doing this before, I kind of go through these phases that I like have built things up and then I like just delete them. So we're kind of working on that pattern. I'm not going to do that anymore. Promise. I hope. It's one of the things that I'm working on. So, okay, the final thing I want to talk about with Whitney Cummings and the Malibu Safari craziness was that to end this whole situation, what is that she ended up adopting a pig, like a little baby pig. And magically, right, so there's like this crazy thing going on about Malibu Safari. She's like, F them, boycott them. I thought I would give them the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. And then she was like, screw them. And I'm personally offering my support the next time something comes up. So you have an evacuation plan for these animals. And yes, we agree with all that, blah, blah, blah. And then magically, she was sort of saved from this whole thing because she went to this animal hospital and she heard about this like baby pig that was abandoned, and she took him in, and now she's his mommy, and like, you know, he has a lot of veterinary care to go through, and she's been posting about that. And I love watching it. It's very interesting. I love like watching about the animals. And I'm sorry, I need water. I'm like, I've kind of like reached that point that it's like yap, yap, yap for like 40 minutes. And now I'm like, I just need to drink my water. So let's just do like a temporary pause. We're going to hold this up. Thanks for watching. 1 second, just hold on tight because we have final thoughts. 1 second. Okay. All right. Thanks, Starlight. I love London as well. He said London, UK loves Blair. Yay. Blair with an E at the end, though, Starlight. So, hey, DC. Hey, Mike on Facebook. So you would think, if you weren't aware of spiritual activity, let's put it that way, you would think that she randomly found this pig, and that was kind of like her saving grace, because then all the attention was off of the drama and the chaos and the trauma that she had like stirred up with Malibu Safari, because in a way that was their problem. So this is kind of going back into spiritual stuff again. So again, there's a kind of fine line. You know, we want to do animal activism. We want to help other people, but there's that fine line of like, certain people just don't want our help. And again, Malibu Safari did not want her help. So she also created like a lot of, thanks for the E. She created a lot of hate towards her. There was a lot of like energy stuff that she stirred up. Now on a soul level, that is very painful. You know, her heart was in the right place, that she wanted to help the animals. And I do believe that you should be helping the animals. And I do agree that I think Malibu Safari, something is off there. So it did need to be evaluated. I think it does need to be evaluated what they're doing with animals and if they should have animals and all of that. So back onto this little piglet that she saved. If you're not aware of like how our soul works from a psychological and spiritual perspective, you would think that she randomly found this pig, and that now she's the Whitney that we all know and love, that takes care of animals, and it's so sweet what she's doing and paying for his medical bills or raising money that way. And now it's all sort of love and light type of stuff again, rather than that, you know, boycott Malibu Safari stuff. I need water. So, but that from a spiritual and psychological perspective, it didn't just happen like that. What happens is that psychologically, she knew that, and this is unconscious, or maybe it's slightly conscious, and you know, she's not going to go share her issues with other people, but I think that she knew that she blew it out of proportion, and that maybe, yeah, I am going to drink, thank you. I really need just like a cup of tea. That's what happens for me. So I think she knew that she blew it out of proportion. I think she felt bad. I think it was sort of like, kind of like weird reporting, or like off-kilter reporting, or sort of, we can say maybe wounded reporting, when, you know, it was a little bit more like she was kind of going for the stardom of, she's kind of breaking loose on this story. And she even had mentioned it, like, you know, I'm going to get whatever it is, like not an Emmy, but like whatever kind of award you get for reporting, news reporters get for reporting. So I don't think that she did anything of this wrong. You know, it's just sort of how our unconscious or our childhood wounds play out. So I think she felt bad. I think she knew that she kind of maybe approached it in the wrong way. Again, we're here to learn lessons. So fine, no big deal. And then subconsciously, what happens is she finds this like redeeming situation, that here she was people were divided. They loved her, they hated her, they hated Malibu Safari, or some people were supporting them. And there was a lot of this chaos, a lot of this drama. She knew that she had kind of, again, stirred up all this like kind of shit in a way. And unconsciously what happens is I think she felt bad about it, and her soul was sort of looking for a way to be redeeming herself so that she wasn't looked at, like it was like an embarrassment. I think she was embarrassed by it. And again, this can be totally unconscious to her. And then magically, how this pig, who she named Joe, came into her life and now sort of saved the day for her. And, you know, I'm going to compare this to a situation where, because again, remember how I shared in this video, like when we see somebody doing stuff, when we're judging or we're seeing reflections out into the world. So this is how, like, again, our unconscious behaviors, our childhood wounds play out, is like, I have done something like this too. Like, so when I was in my last relationship, and this is a pattern that I've been doing for a long time, but now I'm aware of it and I can kind of like stop it or check it when it happens. And what that is that, for example, like maybe I would be in my relationship and I would overreact about something with my partner, and it would be sort of embarrassing that I made a big deal over something that wasn't a big deal. Maybe I got like overly emotional. Maybe I was crying. Maybe I was like being like kind of very picky about what he was doing, or judgmental, or just starting up on him. Like we all have our neurosis operating. And then so then what would happen was I would feel bad that I made him feel bad. And that also maybe I felt like I overreacted. And then in order to redeem myself, again, this was all unconscious. This is all happening on a subconscious level. This is also related to our childhood wounds. This is why I talk to you guys. It's so important to work with someone like me to heal your childhood wounds, because otherwise you're going to keep repeating these patterns. They're going to be totally unconscious. So let's just continue this story from like my life, is that like, so after I kind of acted out and did this thing that I felt embarrassed, that I kind of sort of jeopardized our relationship a little bit by, again, whatever happened, I was embarrassed by my activity. And then what would I do? Well, I would wear something sexy. I would try to be all sexy because that was my way of getting sort of back in his good graces, to him liking me again. Not like he wasn't liking me, but this was one of my, again, we all have these like ways of operating. That was the way that I would always like draw people back to me. If I was embarrassed by something, if I thought that I was losing a guy's attention, if I was embarrassed by something that I did, well, be sexy Blair, and then that's how you're going to pull him back in. And it works. It would work every time. So this is a childhood wound that I had, a way of surviving. And it wasn't like, oh, I did something bad with I might have to like kind of think about this a little bit, but it wasn't like I would do something bad with my family members. You know, this is also stuff that we learn with like members of the opposite sex when we're younger. But one thing that happens in my family was that I would always get appreciated for my looks, or like for what I was wearing, and like my whole like putting myself together. So I'm sure that I had developed, like being young, as a coping mechanism, that if I did something that was disapproving to my parents, that if I dolled myself up, then they would, and this is also my family members too, that if I dolled myself up, that then they would say, oh, Blair, you know, you look so pretty, you're so beautiful, or like whatever. I would get that appreciation that my soul needed. So these are coping mechanisms that we have, that we develop, again, unconsciously. So this is what played out in Whitney's story, was that she did something that she was ashamed of, or that she was embarrassed of, or that she felt judged around, that maybe she thought she overreacted. And then as a way to redeem herself, well, she went and she adopted this pig. She's all cute with the pig. She's paying for his his medical expenses, and now the whole debacle with the Malibu safari, which again, I think brought a lot of trauma to her soul and a lot of maybe negative press to her. Well, that's all forgotten about. Again, she deleted all the stories from her Instagram. It's no longer archived. You can't find it at all. So you have no idea what happened. And all what you see is about her and Joe and how cute this pig is and other rescue efforts that she's doing. So final thoughts with this is that maybe think about, listen again to the story that I shared about my own life, and how can you, and Whitney's example, and how can you apply it to your life? What are your coping mechanisms? What is operating for you that's like maybe a childhood wound or something that happens unconsciously, that when you do something that you're embarrassed of, what do you do? My ex-husband, I'll give you another example in case you need just like one more. My ex-husband, what he used to do when he was embarrassed or ashamed of something that he did in our relationship was then he would be extra like doting on me. Like he would like clean the house, like he would go do the laundry. He did that anyway, but he would like do it more. He would like cook me a meal. Again, my throat, I need some water. Gee. So he always I found a guy that was exactly how I wanted to be, like cooking and cleaning and like, all those things that women traditionally do. I found a guy who did that. Now it's not exactly like what I'm looking for in a partner right now, but at the time, like that's what I wanted and that's what I manifested. And maybe it's also sort of like a British thing because, he's English. But in any event, like that was his coping mechanism. Like if he did something that was embarrassing, then he would say, hey, Blair, like, let me make you a romantic dinner tonight, or let me go take you out. It was like things that he knew that I liked to get back in my good graces. Now, there's nothing like necessarily like wrong in doing that, but just notice. Dancing K says, my husband buys me potato chips when he's guilty. That's kind of funny. So, and thank you, Starlight, for the compliment. So Starlight says that I'm actually beautiful. Thank you very much. So, what are your coping mechanisms? And if you want to take that exercise even further, like, why do you do them? Why do you need to do that in order to get in someone's good graces? Like, why isn't it not okay just to be you? I stopped doing that sexy thing, let me go seduce my man tonight. I'll give him like a nice naughty show in the bedroom in order to like redeem myself because I feel so bad and embarrassed over like what I did. Well, start questioning, like, why are you doing those things? And step further, do you need to do them? And maybe you want to start breaking that pattern. So with that said, thank you for joining me for the Awakened Warrior today. Once again, I'm the Love Guru. You can find me at loveguru.net. Follow me on all the different social media outlets so you can get addicted to me. Isn't that funny? Because I tied that back in to the beginning of the video on how you get addicted to social media. So yes, follow me on Blog Talk. I'm newly back on there. I'm planning on doing this show back on Blog Talk so you can actually call in and talk to me. I think that would be fun. I could hear your voices. And thanks for joining me. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.